Good boy. Mr. Daddy's boy. Hey everybody, I just wanted to do a quick video on what's been going on. This is not on saltwater aquarium stuff. This channel is saltwater aquarium care, and I'm a huge animal lover. I love animals more than people. Most people are stupid and rude and inconsiderate. You'll never get that with animals. Anyway, I've had dogs all my life, and this video is going to be about this little guy right here. This is Jack, right boy? This is my boy. And I love dogs, you know, more than any animal, I'd have to say. He's 12, he's a Cairn Terrier, Wizard of Oz. His ears are a little floppy because he's just chilling out. But we have Jack. I had Roxanne, his sister. Long story short, about 6 months ago, I had to make the terrible decision about putting her to sleep. She was fine. She was, 14. She was great. And then one morning, I'm getting ready for work, and she couldn't walk. So I stayed home with her, laid with her all day, and she got worse as the day went on. And there was no way she would have lived more than a day. Her spleen got enlarged, and they said that if they operated, she would probably die on the table. So I made the decision to put her to sleep because the family was with her. I didn't want to risk her dying when I was not by her side. So anyway, this video is about Cushing's disease in dogs and diabetes. And why am I doing a video on that? Because I've been researching my butt off lately for this little guy. Again, he's 12, and he's really very much like a puppy. He still runs really fast. He's got a lot of life in him, and he's incredibly loving. I call him the shadow because he never leaves my side. He's always by one of us, especially me. And he's been like that since I brought him home at 10 weeks of age. But so he started panting heavily, and I want to make a video for you guys out there who are looking into Cushing's disease for dogs. Maybe your dog or cat has been diagnosed with it, or diabetes, and you want to know what it is. So a few months ago, Jack started panting, kind of heavy in the evening, like it was summertime, but it's winter. And I brought it up to the vet during a routine checkup, and the vet said, maybe we'll get some blood work and we'll check him out. And I said, maybe we'll wait because he's not showing any other signs of anything, So 3 months later, we noticed he was drinking a lot more water. So the panting, he was a little lethargic, meaning tired, and he was drinking a lot. Like, I started filling his water dish once an hour. It got pretty bad. Took him in for the blood work test. The vet kept him for like 8 hours. They ran a test on him. He thought maybe it was an enlarged liver. He actually went in for teeth cleaning. And they ran a quick blood panel, as they will, before they put the dog under for anesthetic when they clean the teeth. And he said, I wouldn't recommend cleaning his teeth now because there's some issues we found in his blood work. He said, we can do an x-ray. It's probably an enlarged liver or some liver issues, but something's not right. Or it could be Cushing's. And based on everything I told him and everything I've researched, we thought it was Cushing's. Now, I'm not a vet, but Cushing's disease is basically when you go through a fight or flight. If you're gonna, fight somebody, or you're in a situation where your body goes into adrenaline mode, your body manufactures adrenaline. Well, that's what his body is doing nonstop. He's manufacturing that nonstop. Cortisone and cortisol, and his body cannot stop producing it. So basically there's glands that talk to the adrenal glands, and the adrenal glands are like, if I remember correctly, okay, I have enough cortisol in the system, stop manufacturing it. Well, the adrenal glands aren't talking or aren't receiving the messages from his brain properly, so the brain keeps manufacturing the cortisol. So what does that mean? In time, all that will destroy his liver, and he'll pass away. Or he could be put on medication called vetoryl. It's really expensive. It's like $120 a month after the testing, which is what I chose to do for him. So he's on the expensive meds, and then the other signs are he's going to start urinating. He didn't have any urination problems. This guy holds it for hours, just like his sister did. But then all of a sudden one night, one of my sons, I was down in the studio, and they said, hey, there's water all over the place. Well, it started. He was fine, and then he wasn't. He went downhill rapidly, and he could not control himself. Constant drinking of water, urination uncontrollably. It was just the panting. So I had to do something. Now, something else I found was called, it's an herbal approach, and it's called cushex, Cushex, and it's a liquid. Comes in a dropper form, and you put this in their food 2 to 3 times a day, about 6 drops each, so like 18 drops a day. And supposedly this herbal has got like ginseng and vitamin B and all this other good stuff that will control the manufacture of the cortisol and help things calm down. Now, if you go to Cushex on Amazon or any other place, you'll see that people rave about this stuff, and they say that it helps the dogs the herbal way within a few days to a couple weeks. I was desperate and wanted to save money. It's like $35 a bottle. So if I went through $35 a month as opposed to $120, that's great. Plus, I'd rather not have him on any RX meds, because from what I understand, the vetoryl is a pill form of chemotherapy, and I don't want to do anything like that to him. Plus, if you give him too much, if the vet doesn't do enough testing, or the testing isn't proper, that vetoryl will destroy the gland in his brain, and then you're going to have the reverse, which is called Addison's disease. Then you're in real trouble because he can't manufacture enough cortisone, period, and then it's just bad. So it's a delicate process. So I decided to put him on the vetoryl, and it within a week, it's night and day. He's doing so much better. Now, in the process of doing other testing, the Cushing's disease can, if you let it go long enough, they'll get diabetes. So my vet called, he said he ran some tests, and Jack here has type 2 diabetes now as well, because the symptoms didn't come on fast enough, so the Cushing's gave way to the type 2 diabetes. I know it sounds weird to a lot of non-animal lovers, but if you're a non-animal lover, you're probably not watching this. You're probably watching this because you wanted some research done on Cushing's and diabetes. Well, he has diabetes now. So that's more bad news. As if we couldn't afford the meds. Most people can't afford the Cushing's meds, the vetoryl, which, what do you do? You can they're not going to die from Cushing's. It's just going to give them a harder time. They're going to have the urination. In fact, a lot of people have given up their animals because they think that Cushing's is actually just old age, and they're urinating in the house. They try and put diapers on them, and they're tired of cleaning up the urine in the kitchen. They lock the dogs in the kitchen or in crates, and they didn't know that it was Cushing's disease. But that's the deal with that. So another panel of blood work showed the diabetes. So what does that mean? It may sound silly, and I've heard dogs being on this, but now he's on insulin shots just like a person. I know it sounds crazy because it's a lot cheaper to put a dog down than it is to take care of him like this monthly, but the reason I won't do that is because he is a part of the family, and I want to do everything I can for him, and we love him, and he does have an awful lot of life left in him. He still sees and hears really well. So he's doing great. He's got a lot of energy. He's really fast. A lot of people think he's 4 years old or 5 years old, with the exception of the little white goatee. You would never think that this guy was 12. I mean, he's pretty calm right now because I'm holding him in front of the camera, but this is pretty much his demeanor. When he goes to the vet, he gets a shot. He doesn't care. He just chills out. The diabetes will cause him to urinate as well. So between the Cushings and the diabetes, he was having accidents. Right now, we do let him outside once an hour because we do have that convenience. But if you don't, you should have a dog walker or a family member or neighbor let your dog out a couple times a day at least, if possible. I do recommend the Cushing's meds. I know it's expensive. I'm trying the best I can. There's a lot of places you can trust online to get the vetoryl. The insulin shots, along with the needles and disposable box, much cheaper at Walmart again compared to the vet. And insulin is not expensive. It's roughly $25 to $30 a bottle. And the bottle lasts a few months. This guy is on 6 cc's a day of insulin, which it's going to last him maybe 4 months. So you're looking at spending like $25, $27 over 4 months. It's, like $7 a month. Fine. It's just that you got to give him a shot during breakfast and a shot when he eats again at dinner. No big deal. It's not painful. You just grab his skin right here. They're not going to feel it because this is where the mother grabs their young. You just grab it. You put the tiny little needle in there. Really easy to get in, and you just give him the shot under the skin. It's not intravenously because it gets absorbed too quickly in the body. You want to absorb it into the muscle tissue underneath the skin. And it helps him a lot. I know, some of you guys might be like, oh my God, insulin and vetoryl and oh, it's just too much. Believe me, it's like, really? What? A double whammy. The Cushing's is the worst. Diabetes is bad. But it's easier to treat. Now, there's no cure for Cushing's, okay? There's no cure. Surgically, they can remove... There's 2 types of Cushing's. There's the glandular, I'm not a vet, so I don't know the terms, and then there's the adrenal. If it's in the brain, it's caused by a tumor resting on the gland that promotes or does the flow of cortisol, I believe. Research it to get more information. Again, I'm not a vet, but he's got the adrenal type, which what I understand is less of an issue. But they say dogs do about 18 months to 2 years on the vetoryl meds. They live another couple years. So other people say they live longer than that. So anyway, he's comfortable. He's doing a lot better. He's been on insulin now for a week and tolerating that really well. The testing for the insulin is expensive too, by the way. Usually vets will start you out with like 2 cc's of insulin, and then you come back in a week to test the blood. You get a blood panel for about $150 to see if they need to get more insulin or less. If they need more, they up the dosage by like half a cc or whatever, and then you show up in another week. So basically it's $150 a week. $150 a week. So if they need 4 visits for 4 blood panels, it's $600, which is insane. So what we did, we chose to do the glucose panel right off the bat, which is 1 test. The dog has to be at the vet for about 8 to 10 hours. They feed them, they walk them, they take care of them. They give them some insulin, a little dose, then they feed them, and they see how much that is going to affect them over the course of 10 hours. They give them a few shots of insulin along with feedings at certain periods of time during the day. And then they determine what works, and they up it a little bit if they have to, so they do everything in 1 day. That was about $120, and that's 1 visit. So of course I did that. So in another 2 weeks, he's going to go in and get a small blood panel to see if he needs more or less than 6 cc's a day, which is 3 cc's of insulin per meal. Anyway, I did buy the cushex drops, and I don't know if it was my imagination or the placebo effect, but I thought it was doing well for him. I would put 6 to 8 drops in his breakfast and his hard food, and I would put 6 to 8 drops in his dinner. I don't know. At the end of the day, it's not been tested. It's not FDA approved, but a lot of people swear by it. There are tons of people that love the Cushex drops. Now, I found a website that was outstanding. It's called, I believe it's cushings.com. Really, really sweet people on there. One phrase stands out to me the most, and this lady said, when someone asked a question about the Cushex drops, don't you think if it worked, we'd be using this for our Cushing's pets? Okay, so everyone's using and relying the vetoryl RX pills. Again, at the end of the day, I'm just going with what the vet recommends. And when I saw that statement on caninecushings.com, I thought, you know, these people have experience with it way more than me. I'm a noob when it comes to this. I'm just going to do what the vet says and do my best I can to afford it. So I'm getting the scripts this week. I'll be ordering the pills online. So instead of like $120 a month, it's going to be like $78 a month, which is still a lot of money for the Cushing's pills, but we'll see how it goes. Anyway, if you guys have any comments or questions, please feel free to post them below, and just look out for the warning signs, you know, especially as your dog gets older. If they pant, they're drinking a lot of water, it's either going to be the Cushing's or the onset of diabetes. Look out for these guys. I understand that money is incredibly tight. Believe me, I get it, but I gotta do what I gotta do. Because when I got these guys, I vowed I would take care of them forever. And yeah, we've got a family, and the kids are, of course, very important. They come first. But I cannot not take care of him as well, because we all love him. So anyway, do the best you can. Thanks for watching, and I hope this video was informative, and I hope it helps someone else out there, because there weren't many videos, except for a few from veterinarians, talking about these diseases.